is day 2 of the Rough Draft Diaries, and we have been going all morning. And now, where are we going, Evie?
To Unicorn Land!
We're going to Unicorn World in Dallas. We're going to meet some friends there, so let's go!
Remember when you told me you believe in something and you said you're done pretending that fate is patient. Go run away, get it out of your system. Come back when you're older. Go find a place where you can't be the victim. And come back when you're older. Go catch the storm within your broken bones and be wild, 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 wild.
Did you have fun?
Mm-hmm.
What was your favorite part?
When I got to sit next to the mermaids.
When you got to sit next to the mermaids? That was so sweet.
It made me feel like I want to be a mermaid.
Hey you guys, so we are home from a full day of Unicorn World. George is just coming home with dinner. It is already 6:15 p.m. so I'm going live in about an hour and 45 minutes for a double down day. And I'm definitely experiencing a lot of eye strain, a lot of fatigue. So Sunday, tomorrow, will be a full rest day. But tonight, I'm going to still get some words in. But that was super fun. It's always fun to do anything that I can watch Evie's eyes light up with excitement and joy. And it was so fun. So we had a good time. Hey everybody, so I am literally live with sprints for everybody tonight in the Heart Breathing Sobriety community on YouTube. We do double down days every single first Saturday of the month, and there are admins who go live in our community every single day across YouTube. So if you want to join that, I'll leave those links for you down below. We call it the HBWC, Heart Breathing Sobriety Community, and we have a Google Calendar and sprints every day. But whew, it has been a long day doing Unicorn World, hanging out. We had a fire outside for a little while. So now I am diving into my story for the first time today. And I'm definitely having a lot of eye strain, like I was saying. I've tried blue light glasses. I've tried readers. I've tried just I have progressive lenses that I wear when I drive. Nothing has been helping because I think it's just been too many hours on a screen. And so I've got the lights down. Tomorrow is going to be more of a eye rest day. I've never had this kind of eye strain. I think I just pushed myself a little bit too hard. So we are going to just work on inside my notebook and work on some mind mapping stuff. And I'm going to set up my planner like I was talking about. It's so funny because everybody's saying like hi to the vlog and vlogging during sprints and everything. This is so funny. So say hi to the vlog, everybody. So we have about 260 people here live and we're sprinting. It's a lot of fun. So yay for time to write. It just feels so cozy and so happy. I love this community so much. I feel like this camera does better in low light than my previous camera, so hopefully it looks as good in edits as it does here. But I have been trying to keep the lights low and a little bit less screen time, so I spent we went a little over 2 hours, so I spent the full 2 hours working in my new setup of my journal, and I got 4 pages. I think what I'm actually going to do is Tomorrow, I'm going to dictate what I wrote here into my Google Doc. I'm not going to do it now because I've been talking all day. We went, obviously you guys saw by now, we went to Unicorn World and I spent the full 6 hours just chatting with my friend Megan, who we went to Vanderbilt together, and we've been friends for 20 years. So more than 20 years. So that was super fun. We have little girls they were due on the same day. So to be 40 something moms due on the same day was great. But her daughter was born a few weeks early and my daughter was born a week late, except right on time, exactly when she was meant to come. But anyway, they're a few weeks apart. But I spent a good bit of time thinking about the structure of this series because so the story that I just finished, The Disappearance of Vanessa Shaw, that is a standalone. And so it's done, but I have currently 3 other series that are in process, and I'm starting yet another thing, but it's tied to my Shadow Demons saga. So Shadow Demons is the first series I started back in 2010. So I've been writing this series world for 14 years, and I have multiple spinoffs and short stories and other things in this world. So this is actually going to be another spinoff serial. So it won't be novels exactly, though I will be publishing them in chunks that will read like novels, but serials are different in format to novels. I think that when you're writing a serialized story like a fan fiction or a serial that goes on for years, they don't always have natural stopping points that make up novels because the structure is different. So what I'm writing might not even really be considered a true serial because it is more novel-like, but it's the way that I think about it personally, and I know I've mentioned this before, is just like novel is like a movie and a serial is like a TV show. And I told my story, Sacrifice Me, in episodes. So the first serial and only serial really that I've written is called Sacrifice Me. It's a spinoff of my Shadow Demons saga, but it's a little bit older, more new adult than young adult. And it is more of a romance than my other series. Although there's romance in all my stuff, it's more of like a actual romance. You couldn't really take the romance out of it and have a good book, have a plot. But it was told originally and published in 6 installments that were between 15 and 25,000 words a piece. So by the time you get to the end of the 6 episodes, it's about 115 to 120,000 words. And I published it 2 weeks apart, like every 2 weeks, a new release back in, I don't know, 2016, 2015, something like that. And then I did a season 2 that was also 6 episodes, and it was a little bit longer, maybe more like 125 to 130,000 words. And it was so much fun to write because when you're plotting it, it's not like you have to write act 1, act 2. It's just a different sort of feel. And I've never found a great way to really describe the difference between what I'm doing in that serialized story. But in those 6 episodes, I still had a midpoint at the end of episode 3 that still felt like a big, like, this changes everything kind of moment. But I was trying to kind of spend a little time in my journal thinking about that structure and how I want to pull that structure into my new story, A Mirror of Shadows, which will also be a new adult spinoff of Shadow Demons and will also, I think, be more of a romance. And I think really what I was doing when I was writing that was kind of act 1 gets truncated to get to what feels like a doorway at the end of that first episode. And then episode 2 becomes more of the fun and games type stuff where you're learning the world and you're kind of getting into the fun of the premise. And it's just more rising action, more cliffhangers and symbol crashes at the end of everything to keep that pacing going really high. And I naturally write fast-paced and cliffhangery kind of all over the place. So it just, my writing lends really well to that style. And then episode 3 becomes that sort of lead up to what becomes the midpoint. So it's kind of like taking the first half of the book and separating it into 3 chunks. And then the second half of the book becomes the reaction to the midpoint in episode 4. episode 5 was more of that bad guys close in beat if you're looking at Save the Cat. And it's really that tests and challenges and trying to find the clues or trying to figure out how you're going to win, sort of. And then episode 6 is the climax, and it's a long, very high stakes, very big climax. So really the end of episode 5 becomes the doorway, or the sort of, I don't know if I really would say that the dark night of the soul happens in episode 5. I'd have to really, I think I'm going to go back and kind of look through some of my notes on it. But yeah, I think that really you get some of that dark night of the soul in episode 5. And then that final sort of storm the castle, moving into that final climax, is really all of episode 6. So it's kind of like you're taking certain beats of a novel. This was just my process. I didn't learn it from anyone. This is just what I intuitively created there. And it worked for me. Was kind of like taking the novel structure and putting the first half in 3 episodes, the second half in 3 episodes, but messing with the percentages of where it shows up in the story and messing with the pacing, putting in more turning points, more twists, more cliffhanger moments, and just really consistently, like at the beginning of an episode, kind of having reaction to the previous episode, and then ramping up that tension, the stakes, the conflict, until you hit another big cliffhanger moment. And then you move to the next episode where there's reaction and then action, reaction, action. So it's kind of like taking that scene and sequel, and turning every single episode into a massive scene, then sequel, scene, then sequel. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I was originally thinking that I was going to make this a trilogy, which would really be kind of like a season of Sacrifice Me, 120,000 words split into 3 books. But when I start thinking about it structurally, I really need it to be something I can split in half. And with 3, I can't really have that big moment at the end of a book and then see it through. I think that I need 4. And there are people in my reader community that are going to laugh at that, because I either need 2 or I need 4 or I need 6, but I need an even number so that I can split it in half and have that midpoint moment in the series. And for me, I think that's just going to be what I need. But I'm going to keep playing with it tomorrow. I know that right now I don't logically have to decide the entire structure of the series before I start writing book 1 of it. But because this is a serial, it's not exactly the same as like book 1, book 2, book 3. It's kind of like one long story that's going to have some rolling storylines and lots of plants and reveals and side stories and other things. So think about, I don't know, anybody here watch anime? One of my ones that we've been watching that for all year, because it's very long, is an anime called Fairy Tail. And it's really brilliantly done in serial format, because you really end up with like, here's a storyline and a conflict or a big bad that we're going to spend the next 20 episodes fighting against, and the stakes are just constantly being raised. And when you think it can't get worse, it gets worse. And you just have that pattern over and over again until you have maybe 2 or 3 episodes that are like the big climax where everybody's got somebody they're fighting. And then when the climax is done, you usually have maybe a filler episode or 2 where you've got some little personal things going on with the characters, like somebody will go home to see their father, or something that kind of becomes the breath after all the climax. And then a new conflict will arise. And that is similar to what I want to do here, but I don't want it to stretch over 400 episodes. I want it to be something that I can still kind of mix that structure with novel structure. Let me know if any of this is making any sense, because I know I'm being a little crazy. So I spent a lot of this time today thinking about what are the elements I want to put into this story. Like, I know I want arena battles. I know I want enemies to lovers. I know I want castles that act like houses that are going to play into my priestesses and my shadow demons. I want potions. I want magic with no rules. Whereas in my Shadow Demons world, like dark magic is not really used because it corrupts and there's all these other things, but they're in a different container for this series. They're inside a mirror, like inside, imagine they're inside a snow globe. And I want training montages. I want found family, like just kind of thinking about those sort of things in a mind map. And then did a little bit of journaling about who I want my hero and heroine to be, and whether I think it's a good idea to do multiple POV for this story or just a single POV. So that's what I worked on today. And I don't know how many words it is. So what we're going to say is, I think, let's see, we're just going to do a little math. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So here I have 8, about an average of 8 words per line. And then I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Don't math in my head if you guys are not aware. 24 times 8. I mean, we could just say 160 words per page, but it's going to be a little bit more than that. So 24 times 8, 192 words per page. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4 pages. So we're going to say that I got it. That would be 768. And so I'm going to say I got 768 words today, and I will alter that when I put it in, because for this purposes of the Rough Draft Challenge, I'm counting all my brainstorming words, because I was talking about this on the live stream tonight, that in previous years, I have often just pushed myself to get as many words on the page, without really giving myself the time I knew I needed to plot and think, because I didn't want to count brainstorming words. I counted them sometimes, but I really wanted to try to get words. And then it would be like, I wrote chapters that really didn't fit into the book because I wasn't honoring my own process, because I was just honoring that 50K goal. And in the Rough Draft Challenge, I'm honoring my process rather than a goal. And I'm still looking forward to the goal. I'm still trying to hit the goal, but I'm also going to include the words that are part of my process. And that's how I'm doing it. So that's a long talk after a lot of unicorn. So hopefully you guys are enjoying it. How's the Rough Draft Challenge going? I hope that you are enjoying your month so far and enjoying the vlogs, and we're going to keep them coming. So tomorrow is going to be a self-care day. So join me for a self-care day. We are going to reset my planner. We're going to plan for the week, and I'm going to stay off screens as much as I can, and keep brainstorming and plotting, and it'll be super fun. I love setting up new worlds, and I really, really enjoyed writing the fast-paced world of Sacrifice Me, and I think it's going to be fun to get into it again. So let me know how your story's going, what you're writing, and I will see you in the comments, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, everybody.